Hi everybody, and today we're going to have a look at my vintage camera lens collection that I've built up over a couple of years or so. Well, actually longer than that. I just recently began getting back into it, and so I thought we'd have a quick look around them, my little collection, and tell you a bit about them. And so we're starting off with an underused lens here really, and it's the Vivitar 28mm f2.8. And I was initially a bit disappointed with it. I thought there was a bit of a blue colour cast to it, but because of the old lens coatings, you do get that with vintage camera lenses. Not all of them, but with a number of them. So really I think I need to give this another chance. But I wasn't also too won over by the lack of contrast. But maybe that was me, maybe it was the lighting conditions, maybe I need to go back to editing and have another go. But a couple of final other reasons why it's underused. I tried this for astrophotography and I had to stop down to f5.6 to get rid of any chroma smearing, and obviously that means that you have to increase your exposure times and your ISO and lose that bit of quality. And a final reason why it doesn't get used that much is because of this camera lens for when it comes to wide angle photography, and it's a Sigma 21 to 35mm, and this is a Olympus fit, but with the adapter it does go onto the Canon EOS, which you are looking through now. So it's a 21 to 35mm lens. I got this from West Yorkshire Cameras. I don't mind plugging them at all. It was a bit cheaper because the pull push zoom action is very stiff to use, and so basically I just leave it on 21mm all the time, and at f8 it's put it on infinity, and anything from just a few feet in front of you to infinity is bang on in focus, and the edge to edge sharpness is amazing. I'm very impressed with this lens. I recently did some I think it's street photography in Lincoln. If you want to check my other videos where you can see some of the results I took with this lens. And so what we're coming on to now, I'll just put this down here, don't want any expensive accidents. And talking of my recent trip to Lincoln, where you'll see the results I took with that lens at 21mm, I also took this with me, and it's a Pentax Semi Super and a Miranda 35 to 70mm twist zoom action, sorry, not pull push. And I had a couple of rolls of film, and the end results are quite amazing with this lens. Again, as per a lot of the vintage lenses, it has that slight blue cast with colour photography, and so obviously I just had a black and white film in here, so I had no choice in the matter on this occasion, but the results were absolutely stunning. And what you're looking at now is an image I took through this handheld inside Lincoln Cathedral, and it was actually better than the result I got through my Canon EOS that you're looking through now, which I used at the same time. And so yeah, 35 to 70mm, it's a great grab and go lens for most occasions if you're out and about and walking and you don't want anything too heavy. So I'm very impressed with this lens. I did find focusing a little bit tricky because it's quite sensitive there. It does move quite very freely, so I found focusing a little bit tricky, but yeah, I'm very impressed with that lens. So what we're coming on to now is a lens that I've not done a review of yet, and I really ought to give this a chance, and it's a Vivitar f3.5 135. Very nice lightweight lens, built-in lens hood. With this one though, it is an auto only lens, so I can only use it at f3.5. So because I couldn't stop down to f8, f11, etc., I felt like I couldn't do a really good review on these. But given the lens that we're going to have a look at next, maybe I ought to give that a go. And so the lens we're coming on to now is one I reviewed recently, and it's the Makinon 200mm f3.5. I think this cost me about £12. I think 600 or 700 grams, like, so it does feel like a substantial lens. And I thought that I might get away with saying, oh, that's a 50mm f1.2, a really nice big piece of glass there, probably just fully coated, right. I think it says multi-coated, but to me, like, it looks fully coated. So again, a built-in lens hood. And what I found with this one was, as per a recent review, I thought I'd ask the question, how sharp is it at f3.5? And the result is not very sharp, to be honest, but you get some really nice results. So a nice effect rather than a quality result. And stopping it down to f8 or f5.6, the results are very good through this lens, and actually get some good landscape images with this, believe it or not. And it's in really good condition, all the engraving, etc. Very good condition. So yeah, I'm very impressed with that lens. And so what we'll come on to now is, now this is a 75 to 300mm, excuse me, and this is a Vivitar. You can tell I've not got my reading glasses on, can't you? And what I found with this one, yet again, surprisingly good at landscape photography, using it like at 75 or 100mm for that compressed field of view. You can use it for wildlife photography, providing the wildlife is static, because obviously no autofocus, the zoom action doesn't really stay in place. But I was very impressed with the results through this. It does say it's a macro lens, but I guess it's not a true macro. But you've probably seen one or two results now that I took of some landscape, and it's very acceptable results. I think that this was included with the Pentax when somebody donated it to me, so very much appreciated that kind donation, and it's definitely going to get well used. And so just put this to one side. So now we have a couple to go, and this is, I mentioned how sharp the Sigma 21 to 35mm is, but I think this is the sharpest of the lot, and it's the Vivitar f1.8 50mm. The sharpness on the edge of the view at f8 is just as good as in the middle. It really is a cracking lens, this. Very lightweight, ideal really for, you know, not so much your sport and your wildlife, but just for out and about. You want some nice, fairly wide angle shots, and yeah, a very capable lens. And so last but no means least, this one, I wasn't exactly trending on YouTube, but this got like 20 times as many views as my average, and I can't think why really. Like, it's well, it's a Zeiss Jena 70 to 210. I got it with a variable polarizing filter and a skylight filter for £10. I mean, it's an Olympus OM mount, and the results through this were absolutely cracking. And there was a massive spike in views when this went up a couple of days later. I thought maybe somebody had been talking about it, maybe on an internet forum, but no, it wasn't. It was just through YouTube search, and this was a highly recommended lens. Excellent results, nice and lightweight, very good condition, just like the 75 to 300. Doesn't exactly stay in place, but hey, it was £10. And so that is a quick look around my vintage camera lens collection, which is my favourite to use, definitely, and it gets used more than any other, the Sigma 21 to 35mm. So if you can see one of these about in reasonable conditions, you're not going to be disappointed. Over the coming weeks and months and years, no doubt I will be making more trips to the second-hand shops and be adding to my collection. These obviously, unlike the rest of my binocular videos, this I'm not plugging stuff for sale, it's just what I do as a hobby, and I just enjoy the challenge of using a vintage camera lens, having to set everything manually, the focus and the aperture, etc. There is a way you can actually use auto exposure with a manual vintage camera lens, but I'll come on to that in another video. So I hope this helps, a little tour around my vintage camera lens collection, and I shall see you next time.